All right, ready to jump into this Professione Badante Eccellenza Italiana thing? Because let me tell you, this isn't your run-of-the-mill caregiver training.
Definitely not. We actually got to hear straight from the source on this one, Clemente Ernesto De Martino.
Yeah, he's the one heading it all up, right?
That's right, and let me tell you, the man is passionate.
That's what I like to hear. So what's the big idea then? What makes this program so different?
Well, he kept coming back to this idea of excellence in caregiving, and I think this is key, it's about more than just the skills.
Oh, interesting. So not just like, the basics of how to lift someone or give medication.
Well, it's deeper than that.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So what's the secret sauce?
He talked a lot about building trust and serenity, like
Yeah.
really getting into the human side of caregiving.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's such a personal thing after all.
Exactly. And he really emphasized that the program focuses on both sides of the equation, the person receiving the care and the caregiver themselves.
Makes you think, right? Most programs probably just focus on the technical stuff.
Exactly. It's like they're saying, hey, you got to take care of yourself if you're going to be any good at taking care of others.
And do they actually give you the tools to do that, like within the program?
Yeah, that's what I found so interesting. They've structured it all into these different modules, right? So you've got your practical skills, but then they weave in this whole personal growth aspect too. They cover things like stress management and communication, which obviously,
Yeah, everyone could use a little help with that, am I right?
for sure. But thinking about it in the context of caregiving, it adds this whole other layer of importance.
Totally. But I got to ask, was there anything in particular that stood out to you, like a specific module or something that made this program really unique?
Yeah, definitely. There was one module in particular that caught our eye, and it really speaks to their specialized approach.
So spill the beans. What was this module all about?
Well, they have this whole section dedicated entirely to Parkinson's disease.
Oh, wow, that's pretty specific. Most programs probably just touch on it briefly, right?
Exactly. And that's what makes this so unique. They're not just trying to train caregivers to handle any situation in a general sense. They're equipping them with really specialized knowledge.
Which is huge when you think about a disease like Parkinson's. It's not like there's a one-size-fits-all approach, right?
Absolutely. They're really digging into the nuances of the disease, both for the person living with it and their caregiver.
So, like, what kinds of things do they cover specifically?
Well, a big focus is on communication.
Ah, that makes sense.
Hmm.
I mean, Parkinson's can affect speech, right?
Yeah, and not just speech, but also facial expressions, even swallowing. It can make communication really challenging.
I bet. So how do they address that in the training?
They actually teach caregivers how to use something called Lee Silverman voice treatment.
Lee Silverman voice treatment.
Yeah, LSVTBI, they call it for short. And it's this whole program designed to help people with Parkinson's regain vocal loudness and clarity.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is. They're literally giving caregivers the tools to empower their clients to communicate more effectively, even as the disease progresses.
That's amazing. So it's not just about like understanding the physical symptoms, they're also giving them the tools to really make a difference in their clients' lives.
And it goes even deeper than that. They talk a lot about the emotional side of things, too.
Right, because it can't be easy caring for someone with a progressive illness like Parkinson's. There's a lot of emotional weight there.
For sure. And they really try to prepare the caregivers for that. They emphasize self-care a lot.
Self-care, that's so important.
It is, and not just in a fluffy way.
Yeah.
They actually teach them specific mindfulness techniques to manage stress and avoid burnout.
That's great. It's like they're saying, look, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly. You got to take care of yourself if you want to be there for others, especially in a demanding role like caregiving.
It's funny, we were just talking about that earlier, how this program focuses on both sides of the equation, the caregiver and the person receiving care. It's like a holistic approach almost.
Yeah, totally. And they take it even a step further by emphasizing the importance of community.
Community, like
Yeah.
building a network with other caregivers.
Exactly. They really encourage them to connect with each other, share experiences, support each other.
So it's not just like, okay, you learn the material, now go out and do it alone.
Right. Clemente really emphasized that. He said they even encourage caregivers to share tips and best practices with each other. It's like this ongoing learning environment even after the formal training is over.
Wow, that's a really cool approach. So they're walking away with all these skills, a built-in support system.
Hmm.
Sounds like they're set up for success.
Yeah, it's really impressive. And it kind of makes you wonder why this kind of approach isn't more common.
Totally. I mean, imagine if other professions adopted this kind of model. Teachers, nurses, social workers,
Oh, absolutely. Anyone who works in a high-stress field, really. Could you imagine the impact on burnout rates?
No kidding. And not just burnout, but job satisfaction, too.
Right. And even beyond that, think about the quality of care or service people would be able to provide if they felt supported and equipped like that.
It all comes back to that idea Clemente mentioned, taking care of yourself so you can take care of others. It's a simple concept, but so powerful.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing the humanity in every profession and every interaction.
Well said. This Professione Badante Eccellenza Italiana program really got us thinking. It's about so much more than just, checking boxes and getting certified.
Right. It's like, how do we redefine what excellence even means in these fields?
Exactly. And that's a conversation worth having in any field, really. Well, everyone, we've reached the end of our deep dive, and I have to say, this one really left an impression.
Me too. Makes you think about how we can all strive for that kind of excellence, both personally and professionally.
Couldn't agree more. And on that note, we'll wrap things up. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive. We'll see you next time.